So, have you all heard of the new craze? I don't think you've heard of it, but they're called fidget spinners. These three-sided, in most cases, cancerous little things that people claim help them with their ADHD, but only help them focus on the simple thing in their hand. Well, tonight I'm going to be sharing you a story submitted by a friend of mine who had taken the time to narrate it himself and send it to me. And it is called Marshall's Fidget Spinning Madness, and we'll be listening to it tonight. So sit back and enjoy yourself while we dig right into a new grave.
Marshall's Fidget Spinning Madness. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Marshall. There was a toy around this time, when he was a kid. It was called a fidget spinner. Quite stupid. Basically, you held it in your hand and you spun it. Kind of like a dildo, but a little better. Everyone had one. Not Marshall. He wanted one the most. He would spin it all day without paying attention to anyone or anything somebody would say. Marshall would do anything for a fidget spinner. His friend Jacob had 70, and he kept begging him for a fidget spinner. And by the time Jacob gave him his fidget spinner, he broke it on purpose. So Marshall sadly had to go on Amazon and buy one for himself. There's all sorts of fidget spinners on Amazon. There's ones that supposedly cured ADHD, one that helps with autism, and one that was quite particular. It met Marshall's eye. He wanted this one. It looked like it had been made in a sweatshop. It was all broken up, put together with crappy super glue and a rubber band. The design on it was a bunch of little pink penises. Yes, very cute. He ordered this one. It was the cheapest. And it had Amazon Prime. It would come to his house faster. As soon as he got it, it was all broken apart. So he put it back together with this hot glue gun he got from Goodwill. He had been proud of the hot glue gun he got. He had never had one before, and he was excited to use it. He didn't know that this hot glue gun was a special hot glue gun. It could potentially lead you into different dimensions. So, he put the fidget spinner back together. He glued it together and put the rubber band around it. He spun it, and it worked quite well. Fascinated, he spun it again. This time, it fell apart in a million pieces. On the ground, it created a certain pattern that opened a portal to a different dimension. Quite fascinated, Marshall wanted to know what was in that dimension. So he stepped in. What he saw was magnificent. Fidget spinner landia. There was every single fidget spinner you could ever want. And in this land, no one had disabilities. There was no ADHD. No one had to take Adderall. No one was retarded. And everyone was perfect. No one had STDs. There was no mental illnesses. Everybody was perfect with fidget spinners. All you heard was the noise of fidget spinners everywhere. The sound was quite distinctive. It sounded like this. Quite annoying, but soothing. Everyone liked to have fidget spinners, and Marshall, his wish came true. He could have any fidget spinner he wanted, and it was all free of cost. There was unlimited fidget spinners. One day, he was just minding his own business, spinning 5 fidget spinners, one on his cock, 2 on his feet, and 2 on his hands. He went around town fidget spinning all day. He went to work. His computer was a fidget spinner and just kept spinning it. The more you spin it, the more money you make. One day, he abided the rules of fidget spinning. Yes, he ordered the special small pink penis from the sweatshop fidget spinner. That was the rule. You were not allowed to buy any fidget spinners from sweatshops, or if it had any vulgar pictures on it. You could have LGBTQ fidget spinners. You could even have a censored hentai if you wanted. But no nudity. He ordered this from his fidgetspinner.com website on his fidget spinner computer while he sat in his fidget spinner chair. Marshall realized something was wrong. Everything was fidget spinners. Even the people, their faces, fidget spinning all day. Their cocks, fidget spinning all day. He then realized he needed to get out of the world, but he didn't know how to. He had to create the portal he had made back in his world. How would he do this? So he came to a conclusion. He decided to talk to the fidget spinner god. Yes, the fidget spinner god then told him that to be able to go back to his old dimension, or you could only buy fidget spinners off Amazon, and they didn't come for free, is you had to abide the rules and buy the small pink penis fidget spinner. But it had been not allowed. You weren't even allowed to have it. You couldn't, if you bought it, it wouldn't show up to your house because they would stop it. He then asked, "How do you order this? It's against the rules. Wouldn't they block it?" He said, "You have to go to the black market fidget spinner dealer. He lives in an old alley on 45th Street. 45th Fidget Spinner Street." He then went to the fidget spinner street, 45th. He walked down an alley. He saw a man. He had all the oldest fidget spinners you could see immediately. His face, old rusty fidget spinner. His cock, small rusty fidget spinner. One looked like it was from the sweatshop, just like the one I had bought in the old dimension. I asked the man, "Is there any way I could purchase the small penis fidget spinner? Small pink penis fidget spinner?" He then said, "What's the magic word?" And Marshall said, "You bite the peach bites back." Then a portal opened. The seller said, "Walk into the portal. You will then find a series of fidget spinners. If you find the correct one you're looking for, take it and come back. I will then make a deal with you, and you'll be able to go back to your old dimension." So, he went into the portal. There was many fidget spinners around. Many fidget spinners. You were walking into them the whole time. You had to separate them out to see which one was which. And then one caught a glimpse of his eye. The small pink penis fidget spinner. He finally saw it. He was relieved to see it, and he walked out proudly of the portal with his fidget spinner. He then told the man, "I've got the fidget spinner I'm looking for. How much is it?" The old man said, "It is free, as I have known what you've wanted this whole time. At the beginning, you said you'd do anything for a fidget spinner, and you have proved yourself worthy. Please, take it for free and go on. You know how to make the dimension portal." So Marshall went to his fidget spinner home in Fidget Spinner Landia. He was going to miss the place. He loved fidget spinners. So he then took his fidget spinner that was not allowed to be around in Fidget Spinner Landia. He spun it. It worked the first time quite well. And he spun it again, and it broke to 1,000,000 pieces. It spelled out the words "Luke" on the ground. Quite odd. He knew his friend's name was Luke. I wonder what it could have in resemblance. He wasn't too worried. It made the portal, and he jumped in, and it went back to his old dimension. And there, laying on the ground, was his small pink penis fidget spinner. He'd been quite glad to have it. He missed it. Then, all of a sudden, Luke comes rushing into his house, says, "Marshall, where's the small pink penis fidget spinner? I need it now." He was very confused. How would have Luke known about this? He then had a talk with Luke, and Luke said that he was in the same trouble. Luckily, he got back to the old dimension before the portal closed. He needed to seal the deal with the old man, or he would be assassinated from an assassin on the deep web that the old man would order. So, he gave Luke his pink penis fidget spinner. He was quite sad that he had to give up his fidget spinner, but it was for his own good. Luke then spun quite well again, and he spun it again, and it shattered. The portal grew huge this time, sucking everything in around it. Everything was flying around, fidget spinners flying, his monitor, his little jewel, everything was flying around. He didn't know what to do. He was in shock. Then he grabbed onto the wall. The portal was sucking him in. The whole world was getting sucked into fidget spinner landia. Everyone was getting addicted to fidget spinners, even more addicted than before. Everyone was getting sucked in. I could see it. People I had seen before, people I hadn't seen before. Even famous people. Steve Jobs, he wasn't dead. He was getting sucked in. He also had an Apple fidget spinner. Mark Cuban, he was getting sucked in. His fidget spinner in his hand too. Everybody was getting sucked in. Fidget spinners, fidget spinners, fidget spinners. Everyone loved fidget spinners. As soon as we got to the world, everyone had fidget spinners. But this time it was different. Something different about the fidget spinner landia was very bothering towards Marshall. It wasn't calm. It was very rowdy. Everyone had the same noise in their hand going. It was very annoying. Marshall had gotten annoyed and wanted to go back. He tried to find Luke, but he couldn't find him. So he went to the fidget spinner landia god again. And it was Luke. Luke had set up the trap the whole time, and Marshall was blindsided by it. Luke had knowledge of Marshall having the small pink penis fidget spinner, and that fidget spinner was not allowed in fidget spinner landia. So, Luke decided to throw Marshall into fidget spinner prison. Marshall had gotten into fidget spinner prison. He didn't like it. There's all these broken fidget spinners, caps off, some without bearings, some that were fake, some that weren't allowed. He didn't know what to do. He had been shocked that Luke had turned on him. Marshall decided to make the grand fidget spinner prison break. This was his plan. He would wait for the fidget spinner helicopter to come flying in. It would fly on top of the prison at night so no one could see it. It would be pure black. No one would be able to see the fidget spinner. It would be a very small noise. It would sound like this. It would be very quiet. He would be able to get out stealthily. Then, he would have a fidget spinner operative come in with his fidget spinner blade and cut the roof off, right above Marshall's cell. Then, he would hoist Marshall out of the cell, and they would jump into the helicopter, and they would fly away onto Fidget Spinner Mountain. It was quite dangerous up on the mountain. Everything was spinning, like a fidget spinner. Slowly, but if you made a wrong move, you could slide off. They had to be careful. They made their landing onto Fidget Spinner Mountain, and they made a plan from there. They would sabotage Luke. They would make him pay. So, they geared up. They got all their fidget spinners possible. They got fidget spinner machine guns, fidget spinner snipers, fidget spinner grenades. Anything you could think of, they had warfare of it. And the best of all, the fidget spinner tank. No one could stop it. Not even Luke, the most powerful, almighty god of the fidget spinners. They waited till morning. When morning came, they drank 15 fidget spinner Red Bulls, and they all went to the god's palace, Luke's palace. They got there, and they lined up. They had the fidget spinner machine gun ready. They had the fidget spinner tank ready. They had the fidget spinner helicopter ready. And Marshall's plan was to go around and sabotage Luke when he wasn't expecting it. Then, Luke shattered through the wall of his palace. Everything went flying. Fidget spinners, bearings, caps, everything was flying. Then, they got hit by the rubble. Tank was fine. Helicopter was fine. Marshall was fine. But some of their armor had been pierced. The tank was getting slower by the minute. The engine was stalling. The helicopter, its fidget spinner's spin was running out. Someone else had to spin it, but no one could. No one was there to fight or to help. So, Luke then threw his fidget spinner bomb. It hit the tank. Bow! The tank blew up. That was the end of the tank. Then, Marshall was quite angered. So he went around trying to sabotage Luke. Then the fidget spinner helicopter in the air got smacked down by Luke's buck teeth, covered in Adderall. Then the helicopter came crashing down, bearings flying everywhere, plastic pieces, little metal balls. And the worst of all, Luke had used the small pink penis fidget spinner on the helicopter. This had gotten me mad because it broke the fidget spinner. But what many people didn't know is that special fidget spinner, the pink one, made a new dimension through a portal. And that would lead back to the old world. But everything would be gone in the old world. It would be desolate because everything got sucked in. He had to return things back to the way it was. But he also needed to part ways with Luke, make friends again. He hadn't known why Luke had done this. Luckily, Marshall had an idea. He went up into Luke's palace, into his fidget spinner room. He had all the glory cases of fidget spinners. Some were small, not that powerful, but could still pack a punch. One hit his eye, the fidget spinner RPG. He picked it up, and he went to the top of the palace, and yelled Luke's name. Luke Wood! Turn around. This shocked Luke. He turned around, waiting for a reply from Marshall. Marshall had no words. He just shot the fidget spinner RPG. It hit Luke right in the fidget spinner heart, and it blew him back into the portal. And since Luke was the god, that means anything that Luke owned or had follows him. Everything was sucked back into the old dimension. Sadly, the portal was closing fast. I had to hurry to get back into the old world. I didn't know how to do it. I was running and running and running, but I couldn't get there in time. The portal had closed, and along went the small pink penis fidget spinner. I had no chance whatsoever to get back to the old world. I sat there lonesome, nothing around me. I looked around, looking for some sort of life or anything that could save this world. I looked around, I walked around, I walked for miles, I couldn't find anything. And then I stumbled upon something on the ground. It was a fidget spinner. The very beginning of the fidget spinner landia was coming back, and they would make a return, and they would take over the world bit by bit, just like it used to be. YouTubers making fidget spinner videos, everyone addicted to fidget spinners. All you heard was the noise of fidget spinners. So he took his one fidget spinner, and he had remembered the one spell Luke told him. It was how to clone anything. He cloned the fidget spinner, making 2 fidget spinners now. And slowly, he made more fidget spinners, making a fidget spinner army. He would be able to go back to the old world, and he would be able to fight Luke again, and he would take back what was rightfully his, fidget spinners. To be continued.
Well, now wasn't that a story? Well, I'm hoping you all liked that one and enjoyed it, because I know Popcorn here sure did, didn't you? So, tune in next time later when I post the next video on a story. I don't know what it'll be. It'll probably be a follow-up to the pickle story on Big Papa, or it might be the sequel to the fidget spinner story that we just listened to. But anyways, yeah. God, freaking train always has to mess everything up. But anyways, shut up! Shut up! Train driver's a dick. But anyways, yeah, tune in sometime later for next new videos. Wow, I really fumbled with that one. And try to get with that. And there might be some fort videos along the way. I'm still waiting for... Popcorn doesn't like it. Popcorn doesn't like how it's been raining a lot, and he also doesn't like it when I play with his feet. But anyways, yeah, stay tuned for more.